pre-search. So instead of saying, hey, let's just record something and then fix it in post, anybody who's in the media side knows what I'm talking about, 4 weeks of editing after almost no prep to get a video out. Well, what if we did 4 weeks of research and then we have almost no editing because we thought of everything ahead of time? Well, guess what? The videos where we spent, like the hour-to-hour ratio is stupid, and I'll get to that in a second. But if we spend a quarter of the time that we used to spend on post in pre, we eliminate 90%, 90, maybe 95% of our post-edit work and man hours. And for the business owners in the room, that's real cost. That's real savings. And for the also business owners in the room, that also means increased production. So if I can take the quarter of the time and I can get almost 0 time on the back end, that's 4 times the videos. But not only is it 4 times the output, it's also higher quality for your goal and your audience. So this is a big thing that we noticed. The videos that we spent the most time on the front end, we spent less time on the back, and they did better. And so we want to spend more time before than after. And so this is my little quote, if you want to write something down. An ounce of pre-work is worth a pound of post. So that was my little take on this. And so by focusing more on what educates and what it means, we do great. And everything else distracts from that goal. And so those are the 5 things that we're changing tactically and that we're doubling down on to cater to business owners. This, at least for my audience, is what they cared about. And I happen to be in that audience, and I feel that way too, so I'm happy about it. So that's how we went from for us as media people to a degree, because I've gotten into this now, to for you or for your audience. And for me, that means for business owners. So now let's talk about why dinero. All right, and this will also ruffle some feathers and rattle some cages. So instead of talking about relationships and college and food and lifestyle, I'm going to be narrowing down or doubling down on, if you will, business models, business leverage, and selling in a business. Notice business being in all of these videos and all these topics. And so that's how I'm going narrower. Very simple. Now, I'm going to go back a slide because I want to hit on this for a second. Just like I said earlier that people who like entertainment also just want more entertainment, what we also found is that people who, I'll go back real quick, people who watch relationship stuff want more relationship stuff. And as they should, that's what they clicked on. That's what they want. That makes sense. And people who want to learn about college are people trying to make a decision about college. Guess what those people probably aren't? Business owners. And people who want to learn about food, they watch other food videos. And people who want to learn about lifestyle probably watch other lifestyle videos. But for me, those were not necessarily the people that vibed the most with my stuff. And that makes sense because, to be fair, this is a little bit more foreign to me. When I talk about business, I feel very comfortable. When I talk about these things, I just give what I would consider hot takes. This is my perspective. So that is what we're doubling down on in terms of the topics that we're choosing for the content we make. So that's number 3. Let's go to number 4 in terms of the things we're doubling down on. So before this, we used to track views. This is another big one. Man, all 6 of these are big. Man, I'm glad I made a presentation about it. So before this, we used to track views as our primary metric. So I'll take a second here. Who uses, be honest. Everybody's like, likes don't, you can't trade likes for paying rent. You can't pay payroll with views. Sure, okay, got it. Who here actually tracks something besides views? Let me say it again. Who makes views the most important metric you track? All right. Right. A lot of you. That's okay. Me too. But I'm going to give you a good metric that you can track. And this was after pouring through, believe me, I'm a big data guy. A metric that you might not expect. So the main reason is that I had a 6 to 12 month deal cycle. So I started by using views because I really had no other metric. Because for those of you who don't know what I do, well, I'll explain in a second. But we had no idea what it would do besides driving awareness, and I didn't really have any other objective, right? But in that time period of doing a deal in every 6 to 12 months, because we buy companies, that's more or less what we do, we began seeing a much closer correlation with faster feedback metrics. And ideally, in any business, you want as little latency between the metrics you track and the behavior you want to change. And so if you want to get people to change something and you want to look at something that takes a year to get feedback, really tough to change behavior. But if you can have a metric that you can see daily changes or hourly changes, then those are things that are going to much more quickly change behavior so that you can have 100 feedback loops in terms of changing and getting better than one every year. And so besides book sales, opt-ins, and applications, there was a metric that stood out as fastest and most measurable.